how to spend $1 million a month on YouTube advertising. And no, that's not a typo. I want to share with you exactly what actually works on YouTube. So you're able to take this information and go and apply it to your business. And you don't need to start off with $1 million a month, by the way. That's kind of a lofty goal for a lot of businesses. We just train a lot of businesses and they know exactly what to do, how to do it. And they normally have very broad audiences when it comes to spending large volumes of traffic. So this presentation is not a case of I did my own research, which normally means someone else, they've watched someone else's video and distilled that. This comes from a lot of evidence from my own spend, my client spend, and also when we do a lot of consulting as well. So you can see here, this is a particular account that ran for the first quarter of this year. And if you look at the cost per conversion, it's had its ups and downs, but in general, we're spending around about an average $35,000 a day, which equals to $1 million a month. So this is definitely stuff that we're doing on a daily basis, and you can see exactly what happens. And what I want to share with you here is the fact that when we look at a broader picture of a year-long operation of this particular account, you can see that in the early days, the red line representing the cost per conversion stabilizes. And we're able to kind of see that fluctuation through to the point at which we gain control and we kind of understand exactly what it takes to bring that under control. And so we can start reducing that cost per acquisition. And at the same time, we're scaling. And as you can see there, we get to over $40,000 a day in ad spend there. And it's at this point that we started implementing this blueprint, this 8-step YouTube ad blueprint. And I want to share with you the core aspects of these 8 steps so that you know what to do when it comes to running YouTube ads. So if at any point you want to say, get that man a beer ticket or leave it in the comments, go for it. It just means that I know that I'm on track with good content and you're enjoying it. It can be quite lonely when it's just presenting online. I've been doing a lot of it since the epidemic. So let's have a look at these 8 steps then, because you need to make sure you've got a really good offer, good conversion rates, fast loading speed of the website, and good margins as well. So creating a really perfect offer is key for YouTube. And there's lots of different products that work very well in e-commerce, lead gen, whatever angle you're working. Then we start out with some lean video ads, keeping it simple, not overcomplicating things. I don't want to go into too much detail today on lean video ads. I want to go into a bit more advanced video ads so you can see how to apply the lean video into a more advanced version so you get the best of both worlds there. Then it's all about making sure you're really clear with your numbers and know that you're tracking everything accurately. Then I'm going to show you exactly how to find your audience on YouTube. This is key. If you have an audience that you're trying to target on YouTube, it's not always easy to find them. So there's lots of different targeting options. I'm going to share with you what works, why, and how to use it. Building, optimizing, and scaling campaigns is step 5. And then step 6 is all about creating better video ads. So making sure that you go out with great video content. Any brand can do this. And I want to share with you the psychology that goes into creating great ads. And then we'll talk about introducing new offers and designing a user experience, typically with these 8 steps. But what I'm going to do today is focus on 2 core steps here, which is about finding your audience on YouTube and then also creating amazing video ads for YouTube. Now, the amazing video ads for YouTube, you can go use those wherever you like. So you don't have to just solely use these videos on YouTube, because we're going to get the psychology and the messaging right for your videos, and you can go and apply them for any platform that you're working on. All right, so let's talk first of all about finding your audience on YouTube. Well, here's what you need to remember about YouTube. And I'm going to draw a lot of comparisons from Facebook and look at YouTube, because that's normally where most ad buyers are coming from. They'll be in a place where they're spending good money on one platform, typically Facebook, and they're thinking, okay, times are getting a bit shaky here. Probably a good time to start diversify some of those traffic sources. And we consume content very differently on YouTube. So think of YouTube like the local bookstore or library. People go there for very different reasons than you would do Facebook. Facebook's like the social club, the bar that people hang out at. Because on Facebook, you will go to the platform on a regular basis, okay? And when you're on Facebook, you're connecting with your community, you're seeing what your friends are up to, you're checking on photos, and you're connecting with your friends and colleagues, potentially. Whereas with YouTube, you don't really do any of that. You go to YouTube far less regularly, But when you go to YouTube, you're kind of there on a mission. You're wanting to know something or do something or buy something or be inspired by something. And that's what your customers are doing. So it's rather like a bookstore. You think of it like people are going to a bookstore because they want to find out information. They want to buy a particular book and see if it's in stock. They want to be inspired by other books that might be there as well. But we're going there because we want to know something and do something or learn about something potentially as well. That's kind of a large proportion of what's happening on YouTube. So on YouTube, there's far less frequency of visits, but the visits are much more purposeful and people spend far more time on YouTube. It's a 40 plus minute average session duration on YouTube, which means that some people are there for over an hour and some people are there in and out. But on average, 40 minutes means that people got a lot of time to investigate and do their research and watch lots of video content. So if you get your video ad in front of those people, you've got time with them if you've got a good message. So thinking about that, this kind of starts making me think about the different types of customers you would have if you had a YouTube business or a YouTube ads running for your business. You're going to have those people that are full of interest, the window shoppers, the people that would come to your store, they'd look through the window, they might be inspired by something, but they may not be looking for what it is you have to offer that particular day. But it's like they're going to turn their heads and definitely be interested. They'll hear you out. Then you have those people that are store shoppers. Those people are the people that have come inside your store, like your bookstore, for example, and ask your sales reps lots of questions. Do you have this particular book? Do you have anything on this particular topic? Is this the best book to get on this topic? Or if you're selling TVs, it'd be the same thing. Is this the best TV for me? What other options are there available to me? These people are in research mode, questioning mode, and want answers and want value. And then you have these checkout shoppers, and these are the people that may already will already know who you are, your brand, and potentially the product they want. But they're going to the checkout and they might have a couple more questions just to feel a little more confident with their decision making. So they feel like, yep, I feel more certain now this is the right product for me. So a little bit more validation that they're making a good decision. Now, we're all familiar with that. Any business offline has this. If you're a restaurant, you have this. If you're selling products, you have this. If you're selling services, you have this. We're all familiar with these types of customers. And deep down, if these people existed and are standing in front of us, we'd speak to them differently. If we're trying to get a window shopper to come in store or come to your restaurant and eat some amazing food that you have, then you're going to have those people kind of cajoling them in, talking to them like, oh, this is the best food. You're going to love this. Come in for lunch. It's going to be amazing. We've got a good deal on right now as well. You're grabbing their attention. You're bringing them in. The people that are already inside are kind of ordering and wanting to know the best dishes to order. And the people that are kind of paying up, they're like, yeah, I love this. But the thing is that you've got different types of businesses will have different types of customers. And when you look at this, it's the same with YouTube. So with your targeting on YouTube, you've got things like remarketing. But as you roll out the different types of targeting that we're all familiar with, like remarketing, you've also got these other areas. So you've got placement targeting, keyword targeting, custom audiences, topics, in-market audiences, affinities, and similar audiences. Now, chances are, if you look at the AdWords platform when you're running YouTube ads, you'll kind of look at it and you think, oh, wow, this looks complicated. It looks daunting. I don't know where to start. What's going to work best for me? I bet I'm going to lose a load of money doing YouTube ads. And that's a lot of the time people have that experience. They just get bombarded with all these options and they don't know where to get this going. So let's simplify that. This is how to think about these different targeting options. Okay, so a lot of them go into the store shopper mindset, but we know how we talk to those people. We want to provide them with value and content and help them. The window shoppers who are interested, those people kind of need to put more of a attention-grabbing videos in front of them. And the checkout shopper, they know who you are, so you can just start with a very different communication type. Now, when you're looking to run YouTube ads, I want you to think of YouTube as like this awesome, great new platform to target cold audiences. So I want to share with you how to get in front of store shoppers with great messaging, but first of all, how to target them. Okay, so let's start out with custom audiences. Now, you can obviously start with loads of different things. I just think that with the day and age we're in now, and what's working really well on YouTube right now are custom audiences. And there's two types of custom audiences that I'll walk you through in just a second. So let's go into talk about what custom audiences are. Well, if you go to YouTube and you go into your ad platform, you're going to see this option to create new custom audiences. Now, what this is, if I just show you kind of what we've got here, I've typed into the audience name, best acoustic guitar, and then I've highlighted in green here, it says people who searched for any of these terms on Google. And that means we can build an audience for ourselves and our own accounts of people that are going to Google, typing in keywords that we define, we choose, and it'll build an audience of those people. So you can think of all the things your customers might type into Google. Should they do that and then come to YouTube, they will see our ads. And that is really powerful because it means we can get in front of our customers when they've recently typed in keywords into Google. So we know they're interested, but it means we've got all the benefit of Google search traffic now as well. So here, if I'm selling acoustic guitars, for example, I might put in like best acoustic guitar, but then Google help us. So I say, well, look, what about these other Google search term ideas that might be useful to you? And you're like, yeah, okay, cool. I'll take this first one. Second one is about guitar strings for beginners. Not so much, but these other ones, perfect. Yeah, these are kind of people looking to buy a guitar. So you dump them all in there. And when you do that, it's going to look something like this. And this is where it kind of says, right, if anyone types in those types of keywords into Google, you'll now have an audience of those people. And you can start running ads to them. Now, if you look here on the right-hand side, it's got weekly impressions, 100 million to 500 million. That's good enough to get started. Like selling guitars online with that sort of size audience, you should be good to go. So this means that if someone types in recommended acoustic guitars for beginners into Google, then what will happen in a short period of time if they come to YouTube, then your ad will show. And here we've got one of our clients who teaches acoustic guitars or teaches acoustic guitar, and this ad would be yours, of course. So you choose your search terms to build your audience, and then your ad would show when people are on YouTube. And this really is a very effective way of advertising. We get great results with this, and it's scalable as well. Now, you don't have to build just one audience. You can build many, many audiences, and you can get off to a really cracking start with YouTube. You can get very low CPAs, very good targeting, and you can scale it really, really well as well. Now, I would suggest if you're going to build a campaign, I would build based on what's called a targeting type called, or a bid strategy type called maximize conversions. You can run this at very low spend, about $20 a day to maybe $100 a day or something. Run your budget, and when you're targeting your custom intent audience with a really good ad, which I'll show you how to do in just a second, you keep it on a very low cadence, and Google's machine learning will help you find that audience. And if it's a good ad and a good offer, and you're targeting a custom intent audience or a custom audience here, you should find that you can get that to work very efficiently indeed. So it's a great place to get started. It gets some really good data into your account if you're not familiar with YouTube, but it can really help you grow. Now, what happens if you've only got window shoppers? What happens if you don't really have store shoppers? No one's really searching for your product because it's brand new and it's not available in the market just yet. Well, you can also build custom audiences for window shoppers. So this is very similar, but just a slight difference. So you know when we brought up this opportunity to build your own audience, well, underneath here, you've also got people who browse types of websites. Now, this means that you can think about all your competitors' websites that are out there. Okay, you think all those blogs and those places where people go to, those little websites and things like that that are your competitors. What you can say is, let's take an audience of people that are likely to visit those types of websites. And so now you're building an audience based on where people go, where people visit online. And based on that, then you'll have an audience available to you that then again you target with your YouTube ad. And I would again recommend creating a great ad, choosing your custom audience based on these websites, choose maximize conversion, keep your spend down to sub $100. And again, you should find that works very well. If you test 5 audiences, you might find that you get 3 that are brilliant for you, and you're off and running, very profitable, and you can scale those as well. That'll really, really help you kickstart your success with YouTube. All right, so we've talked about finding your audience. That's one way of finding your audience, that type of targeting. There's other ways, of course, but obviously I wouldn't have a huge amount of time to share with you today. So I want to kind of simplify this and share with you the most important things to be getting on with. But the rest of the presentation, what I want to focus on is creating better video ads. And this, we have a very unique way of creating YouTube ads, and I want you to apply this psychology to everything you do. All right. So this will kind of really, really support you with any advertising you're doing and any marketing you're doing. So if you take a customer, okay, and you think about your customers and you think about, right, what's going on in their mind? What are they thinking about? What's going to get them to make a decision? That was the question that I posed myself about 3 years ago. We've been running ads for ages and we had a really good system, but I was looking at this and thinking, well, what is the best way to get someone to say yes? And there's a lot of marketing books out there about kind of tactics and strategies and things, but there's no one really kind of coming at it from a psychological angle. And so I was kind of sitting there thinking, well, how do we even make decisions? How do humans come to make decisions to say, yes, I want to take the step forward? And behavioral economics have done quite a good job of that. All the different things you can do to improve the chance of someone saying yes. But what makes us say yes in the first instance? Well, that's something that I had to kind of go back to the drawing board and go back to my masters of psychology to kind of dig back through all my research of years gone by. And I realized there's kind of a process to this. So you've got your unconscious part of your mind. This is the right hand side of your brain. Typically, that's how it tends to be thought about. It's not that's oversimplifying things, but let's think of it in simple terms for now. You have this unconscious part of your brain. This is the part of you that's stores all your memories, your beliefs, your identity, your emotions. Everything kind of makes up who you are without you really realizing it. It stores everything about you, basically. And it searches for patterns as well. It's not so interested in all the nitty-gritty details. The unconscious is far more interested in seeing patterns in the world and taking a broader picture, the gestalt almost, like the overall picture of what's going on. Okay. Now, then you have the conscious part of your brain. This is like the left-hand part of your brain that's thinking and gets a lot more detailed and can focus on any one thing at a time. And it's rather like the spotlight on a stage. The rest of the stage is there, you just can't see it, but the conscious brain is really focusing in on very specific details and wants to be, it's kind of follows systems and habits, and it wants to be happy all the time. It wants to be right all the time as well. So you have the conscious part of your brain as well. And then in any video ad, you want to make sure that people are making decisions. So you need to make sure that people make a decision by having some sort of call to action, or what I like to call actually a call to being. But we'll talk about that in just a second. So this is like a 3-step process we'll tend to go through. The unconscious brain is the one that kickstarts all the emotion, and that's where decisions are made. The conscious brain then has to validate that and say, yep, I'm happy for it to move ahead. Then you need to build tension around the decision in order to make someone say, yeah, okay, I'll do it now. Not just I'm on board with this idea, but yes, I'll do it now. And so those are the 3 steps that you need to take through with any marketing and advertising you do. Okay, so it's Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3. I'm just going to be focusing in here on YouTube ads, but apply this to anything. Now, with your unconscious brain, to tap into Act 1, you really need to tap into what's called a decision driving desire. Okay, so now here's a smorgasbord as such of emotions that we might experience that drive human decision making. Okay, there's loads of emotions here. Now, if you're to be selling like a 4x4 vehicle, for example, the chances are you've seen those TV adverts where like the truck or the car or the SUV goes up the side of a mountain and the person gets out and goes snowboarding, or they go off pisting, find this secluded beach and the guy gets out and goes surfing, something along those lines. Well, what's happening is they're saying this 4x4 vehicle will give you adventure in your life. And unconsciously, again, we're just talking to the unconscious, we're just getting concepts right now. Unconsciously, we're getting drawn in, we're saying, I want that. I want that feeling of being adventurous. I want to have that feeling of adventure. I want to be that person who is considered to be adventurous. And that is what we've got to think about with your products. Like, what is it that's deep down the desire that your customers want? What is it they want at the end of this? Like, what's driving them forwards? I know for a lot of marketers, for example, because it's good to introspection, we want to be recognized and we want to kind of be appropriately busy as well. But we definitely want to be recognized for the work we do. And that happens with a lot of marketers. We want to be recognized. And that's one of a deep desire with a lot of people in this professional field. So it'll be very different for every human and every product you sell. But that is something that's deep down within a lot of marketers. And you can play on that if you wish to. So you can start developing concepts at this point about like what your ad should look like. And we were talking to a pianist who teaches people how to play piano online. And we created this video with her because we knew that her customers really wanted to feel that feeling of creative freedom, where you sit down, you play piano, you just lose yourself, and you can't keep a track of time because it feels like you've been playing for 5 minutes, but really you've been playing for an hour. So it was like, well, have a dream tonight, and what does that look like? And Carmen Moran, who's this amazing pianist, she was like, oh, do you know what? I imagine my piano in this beautiful space, like we're showing you now, where it's at the bottom of this mountainside, and there's a lake running by, and there's trees in the background. And as you start the video ad like this, if you're interested in piano, your unconscious brain is just drawn in immediately. You can't ignore it. You're just seeing it and you think, I want to be that person doing that thing and feeling that emotion, feeling complete creative freedom. And that's what you're selling to your user or your customer. You're saying to them, you can experience this. You can have this deep desired emotion of this feeling of complete creative freedom. And that's what you're selling here at the start of the ad. And the unconscious brain is like, yep, I'm in. I want that. I've woken up. You've got my attention. What do I need to do to get that? And really, that's what happens next. The unconscious brain says, okay, I want it. I'm not sure why I want it, but I want it. And then it taxes the conscious brain to say, hey, work out how we can have this. And it starts to focus the attention in. Now, the conscious brain is really interested in things like logic and values and justification. So some of the assets you might want to build around this would be your things like your backstory and your point of view. They want to know why your product exists in the first place. Like, why did you develop that product? Why does that business exist? What's your mission? What's your story? Why are you here? Talk about that. Talk about the problem you're fixing for people, and talk about like how you can help people and your point of view in the world as well. Like, why is it so important to you? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? These are all the values that we'll experience when we're feeling this. And also, in order to feel comfortable moving forward with this decision that the unconscious brain has already made, they've got to know that you're legit. They've got to know that you've got a lot of credibility. And so they feel comfortable with the decision they're about to make. Like, okay, this person really is the expert. I can follow this person and they can be my leader if they wish to be, because they have a lot of credibility. Talk about like speaking on stage or writing books or helping hundreds of thousands of people or whatever it is you've got, like awards and everything else, great reviews of your products, show all that stuff. Let people know that you are really credible. And then you also want to demonstrate your product or your service and show them like, hey, look, it really works. Like right now, I'm walking through a model that works here really, really effectively. And this model you can take away and it allows you to know there's some sort of roadmap here. Well, same thing with a physical product. You can show them like, here's how it works. We just saw a great presentation of unboxing and seeing how products work. We feel comfortable when we see it. And so that's the conscious brain wanting this information. And then what we need to do is, I can show you an example of this actually. So this is for a golf service-based business. So we're teaching people how to fix their golf game. And we say, look, it's a 3-step process. 3 steps make it feel easy. And we say, look, you do the first step. There's 10 shots of doing a hook, 5 shots of getting your balance right. And then it all works out with muscle memory. And then we did a study with them just to add more credibility, where 213 out of 215 golfers improved their game by applying this technique. So you're building up that credibility again. And then when it comes to the final aspect, we need to pull on tension. And we build tension around your identity. So this is why it's not a call to action, but more of a call to being. Like, who do you really want to be? And what we're doing earlier on in the video, we're giving people that decision to say, who do you want to be? Do you want to be this person, the desirable person, or do you want to be this person who's not really that desirable and you could not be if you didn't want to be, but you currently are that person? And so you give them an identity and you give them a desirable identity. So at the end of the video, you're saying, well, who do you want to be? This is your first choice. You can get to choose. If you click to go through to the site and do the thing I'm asking you to do, you're on the way to becoming this new identity. And you can have it immediately almost. You can transform very, very quickly. If you don't click, you're probably just not one of us. And that's fine too. But you're kind of creating that tension so people have to make that decision. If they wanted this and they want there to be that person, let them know that they've got to click now. Otherwise, the tension can be broken. Now, with the assets here, you want to make sure that you are like showing them reviews and testimonials of people who look just like them, who feel like, oh, this is me in that video. That's the person who's just like me getting this amazing result. And here's what they stand to gain and what they stand to lose. But also add a countdown timer at the end of the video. So You can see here with one of our videos recently, well, actually a little while back, we tested the idea of adding a countdown timer at the end of the video. And you can see here on the right-hand side at the end of the video, we added a countdown timer here. And by adding that countdown timer, the click-through rates bumped by 32%. Just by adding that little edit in at the end. We're just adding that extra bit of tension to say time's running out, now's a good time to click. And it really works very well. So all of our videos now use exactly this strategy. So I'm kind of giving you this as a framework for you to be able to use it, but the assets on the Act 1, you need to make sure you can show like a really, really good way of accessing some of the emotions that your customers might be experiencing is to look at your reviews, see what people are saying. Like people say some amazing things and really insightful sometimes, so you know what emotion you're tapping into. But if you don't have it for your own products, look at your competitors' products. Look at the reviews of the competitor products to see what people really love and what people really hate about that particular product. And you can start to see what emotions are really there that you need to pull on. And then tap into some of those pains that people are having and show them what it can be like. Show them like, hey, you could be this person, you can achieve your aims if you do this. And then you also want to make sure you've got some claims in there to make sure that people know that there's a quantifiable end result. There's something's going to happen if they do this. What is that going to be? Let it be concrete. Let them see and visualize what's going to happen as a result of doing this thing you're suggesting to them to do. So that is a bit of a framework there for creating amazing ads, and it works incredibly well. But I'd really recommend you come up with a concept first, build these assets together, and copy and script writing comes last. Like, don't think of like scripts being a video ad. That's always a difficult way to go. Think of it as starting out with your concepts, your overarching psychology, and how you're going to play that out with the 3 acts. Then start collecting the assets together, and then start writing a script with the assets you've already got. That is the best way that I know of to get someone to go from uninterested or not even knowing who you are to, yes, I want this thing and I need it now because I want to become this particular person. So that is step 6 of creating better video ads. If you combine those 2 things, great audiences and great ads, and you've got a great offer, you've got everything you need to scale on YouTube. And as you get started and you start spending more and more money, then of course there's always things you can be doing. You can add in more targeting, you can improve your conversion rates, you can improve your average order values, you can change your mindset to be less ROAS focused and more growth set minded focus. And you can create lots of different ads as well and lots of different experiences for people. But you've got to get started somewhere, and this is by far the best way that I know to get really, really good results on YouTube and scale to the point where you can spend $1 million a month and far more. So hopefully this has been very useful. I think I'm on time, but if you do want to reach out and connect in any way, then just come to adbuyersclub.com, and I'd love to see if we can help you scale up your YouTube ads and get some great results as well. Thanks so much.